It's a stellar week coming in for the Wall Street. The Sensex and Nifty script history. In today's trade, the Nifty topping the 17,300 mark in a first. On the other hand, Reliance Industries rally, sending the Sensex past the 58,000 mark. Broader markets support the up move. Autos stage a rebound. There's lots of M&A action on the Wall Street. HDFC Life will acquire 100% in Exide Life in a stock and cash deal worth over 6,600 crore rupees. Shares of Exide hit the roof in trade post the announcement. Employees of SpiceJet stage a protest against the management for delay in salary payments. The stock of SpiceJet takes a knock in trade even as senior officials met with the protesting employees working at the Delhi airport, stating that the matter has now been resolved. Jet Airways is set to get into a 2.0 avatar very soon, with the management submitting a revival plan to the government. Sources say the carrier is in final stages of even securing a deal for the 737 MAX aircraft. Top leaders of the telecom industry are hopeful for the government providing a relief. Vodafone CEO Ravinder Thakkar says that India needs a judicious set of policies in the telecom sector. Meanwhile, Jio expects the government to take note of the ongoing chip crisis. And there's no stopping India at the Paralympic Games. India's first medal in archery at the Paralympics. Harvinder Singh wins the bronze in the men's individual recurve event. Earlier today, shooter Avni Lekhara also winning another bronze after a gold, and Praveen Kumar clinching a silver in high jump. Hi there and good evening. You're watching this Friday's edition of India Tonight with me, Ruchi Bhatia. Also coming up for you up ahead on the show, we focus in on the big bull rally on the Wall Street that has given rise to several shining stars, from social media sensations to new leaders in the broking space. On this week's edition of ET Now Spotlight, we shine the light on the new business opportunities this market rally has created. And with Teachers' Day around the corner, we at ET Now salute the teachers for bracing the challenges posed by the pandemic in imparting education. Even as kids get back to school with restrictions in place, is it the right time to open schools just yet? We have a special chat lined up on the show tonight, so do stay tuned for that as well. Get started with the big story this evening. In fact, a stellar week that has finally ended, that too with a lot of style. In fact, we did see the Sensex and Nifty ending at record highs, scripting history yet again. The Nifty up almost 3.5% for the week. In today's trade, we did see the Nifty topping the 17,300 mark in a first. On the other hand, it was Reliance Industries that sent the rally on Sensex past the 58,000 level. Remember, Reliance Industries is focusing on the green energy push, and today Mukesh Ambani did refer to how he's looking to bring the cost of green hydrogen down under the $2 per kg mark, and that was one of the reasons that Reliance was on fire today. The Sensex also zooming past the 58,000 level. Broader market supporting the up move. Auto staging a rebound. Strong gains coming in the metals, energy and realty sector as well. And with the bulls ruling the roost on the Wall Street, some of the big conglomerates have also seen a massive exponential rise in their market cap. That's of course our big story this evening on India Tonight. And let me also take it across then to my colleague Aisha Faridi. She's joining in with a weekly roundup. Aisha.
A historical day and a historical week comes to a close, with the Nifty closing in with flying colours 17,300. Believe it or not, as unbelievable, the ring of 17,000 sounds on the Nifty. Not just that we managed to climb feet 17K, we nicely build on through this entire week onto that mark as well. In fact, over the week gone by, we've had a solid 3.5% rally on the Nifty alone. And remember, this is the best week that we've had since the post-budget rally, dated back to 7th of February earlier this year. That said, names like Shree Cement, Titan, Bharti Airtel have managed to eke out gains of over 10% apiece. The good thing about the week gone by was something that we were cribbing about all of through the month of August, the broader market underperformance. That as well corrected itself, and the mid and the small cap indexes as well participated in the rally. So the mid cap index has managed to hold out by about 5%. Again, it's best since the post-budget week. You had names like Vodafone Idea, Prestige Estates, Exide. They all gained in excess of 20% apiece. Not just that, within the small cap universe, those new entrants within the F&O segment were mighty excited, and names like IEX have managed to eke out a gain of about almost 25%. And surprising as it may be, the big boy, that's the IT sector, was actually a relative underperformer. Barring IT, most sectors have actually managed to hold out and close firm for themselves, especially names from the real estate pack. The Nifty Realty Index alone has managed to gain about over 10%. You had Nifty Infrastructure rise about over 5%. Names like Reliance Industries, you got to doff your hat to Reliance, given that it's advanced to now an all-time high, and out of the 600-point move on the index, 100-point alone has come in from Reliance Industries. And part of the reason why the Nifty managed to close firm with mild gains was actually only because of Reliance. Remember, today you had Reliance move up 4.5%, and given its high weightage on the index, that in itself is a meaningful feat. Apollo Pipes, Asian Paints, Polycab, these are all names that managed to hit a 52-week high for themselves. And on the sectoral front, metals, energy, most of these indices were big winners in trade.
All right, Aisha, many thanks for getting in all those details. And with the market, big market rally, we're seeing the wealth of some of the big conglomerates is also seeing an exponential rise. Let me take it across to my colleague Vivek Iyer. He's joining in to help us decode the kind of returns that we've seen from the Tatas to Ambanis to Adanis. Here's Vivek with more.
Well, we have been talking about how exactly equity markets have been on a roll, almost hitting lifetime highs on a daily basis. The Nifty and Sensex trading near lifetime highs. Most of the stocks doing very well, and in fact a lot of wealth has been created amongst promoters of companies and also the individual shareholders. This particular time, what we are looking at is we are looking at some of the large listed conglomerates within the Indian markets. We are talking about the Tatas, the Birlas, we are talking about the Adani Group, and how exactly have they created wealth, the kind of market cap performance, market cap addition that they've seen in 2021, and how exactly have they become richer in terms of giving returns to the shareholders. The Tata Group market cap addition this year has been a whopping 7 lakh crore, with Tata Steel more than doubling for the year, Tata Elxsi also more than doubling this particular year, and it's been a clear outperformance by the Tata Group. The HDFC Group this year has not been a significant outperformer, still has managed to give a significant amount of wealth. HDFC AMC has given a 35% return. Market cap added this year has been around 1.8 lakh crore. The Adani Group market cap added this year has been around 4.7 lakh crore. There has been quite a bit of volatility in this particular group, but despite that, most of the shares have given significant and handsome returns to the shareholders. When you're coming to the Birla Group, Ultratech Cement, Hindalco, these stocks have done very, very well. 1.7 lakh crore is the kind of market cap addition you're seeing there. Vodafone has been the only drag on the performance, but other than that, it's been a very good set from Ultratech, Hindalco and Grasim. When you're talking about the Mahindra Group, market cap added this year is around 56,000 crore. Most of the stocks here, especially Mahindra Lifespace, have given significant returns to the shareholders.
All right, Vivek, many thanks for getting in all those details. Meanwhile, shifting focus from the Lal Street onto the latest coming in on Wall Street, we're seeing stocks under pressure after the August jobs report that came in well below what the street was expecting, and this on account of the impact that we saw from the surge due to the Delta variant of the coronavirus in the United States. Dow S&P 500 in the red. The non-farm payrolls increased 235,000 in the month of August as per the Labor Department, as against the expectations of 720,000 jobs that various economists were expecting. The report, of course, marks a significant slowdown coming in from July and comes in as the Delta variant had led to health restrictions being put back on track. That's, of course, the latest coming in. On the other hand, the stock of HDFC Life and Exide in focus today, and this as we're seeing a big M&A happen on the street. HDFC Life has bought the entire stake, 100% stake in Exide Life Insurance in an all stock and cash deal of over 6,600 crore rupees. On the back of that, as we told you, the stock of Exide Life was in focus today, zooming past in trade. In fact, earlier in the day, we spoke to Vibha Padalkar, the MD and CEO of HDFC Life Insurance, on the new buyout and, of course, the impending synergies as well. Listen in.
Some of the big ticket positives, and this is something we've been saying as to what do we look for in a potential target company, is that it needs to have credible distribution, which Exide Life has. It is very strong in its agency channel as well as in some of the partnerships on the broker front, and hence that's complementary to our business. It is also present in tier 2 and 3 towns and has a fairly good stronghold in some of the regions in the south. Second aspect is the quality of backbook. Again, we have looked at their embedded value. It has also been certified by an external actuarial firm of repute. And that will be accretive to our embedded value. It's about 10% of our EV. And third aspect is that in terms of the quality of business and its management team and the cultural aspects of it, that too in terms of the ethos, and that will also be very important as we integrate Exide Life post all regulatory approvals into HDFC Life. Very important that the DNAs are reasonably similar. So this particular opportunity had all of them, so tick in every box, and that's why we were fairly happy to go ahead with it.
All right, that's of course the latest coming in from HDFC Life. Moving on then, and let's get you the latest coming in from the aviation sector, where the stock of SpiceJet took a knock in trade on the back of protests being held by the SpiceJet employees at the Delhi airport on the issues of delay and reduction in the salaries. In fact, we do understand that the company's management also met with these protesting employees and seem to have resolved the issues. What was the bone of contention? Here's my colleague Samir. He is getting in the latest on that. Samir.
It seems that everything is not going well with the cash-strapped SpiceJet airline. On Friday, a number of employees came out of the Delhi airport and protested against the SpiceJet airline, against the airline management related to their salary problem. Now, sources close to the development, close to the entire episode, they informed that about 50 to 60 SpiceJet employees, those who are majorly deputed for their ground staff duties at the Delhi airport, they came out of the Delhi airport and they protested against the SpiceJet airline. And this entire protest was related to their salary problem. It's alleged that the SpiceJet airline did not pay their salary timely, and that's the reason that there is an unrest amongst the employees. Now, SpiceJet airline also confirmed this development. SpiceJet in an official statement said that yes, there is certain section of employees, those who have protested related to their salary problem, but as the day passed, SpiceJet came up with an updated statement and said that the entire issue has been addressed and it has been resolved, and the employees, those who are facing their salary problem, that particular part is also being resolved, and the salary payment will be done in very short notice. it is well-known fact that not just SpiceJet airline, but several other airlines is also facing a cash problem, or their financials or their balance sheet is not looking healthy. Major reason goes to the COVID period. But SpiceJet is like a leading player who's going through a tough time, and the protest from the employees or the employment related issues is just adding woes to the SpiceJet existing problems.
All right, many thanks for getting in all those details, Samir. Let me also take it across to my colleague Utkarsh Chaturvedi. We do understand, Utkarsh, that apart from SpiceJet, the latest coming in on Jet Airways, where Jet is getting ready for the 2.0 avatar, and they seem to have submitted a plan to Aviation Ministry as well. They are also very close to signing the deal for the 737 MAX aircraft. Utkarsh, tell us, what are you picking up?
So Jet Airways 2.0, as we call it, has gone ahead and submitted a revival plan in front of the Ministry of Civil Aviation. What we have been told is that the company is very close to securing a deal with the Boeing 737 MAX aircraft. That's what the idea is at this point of time. Also, they have mentioned about how many aircrafts, 20 aircrafts is what Jet Airways is speaking about, taking it to 120 in the period of 5 years. Then going ahead, what we have been also told is that they are looking at an international plan. They are looking at going international in the next 1 year, and long haul flights, wide body aircrafts is what they are looking at. Finally, if you speak about the amount of flights they will be having, Mumbai, Bengaluru and Delhi is something which they are thinking of keeping as a hub, is what we have been told at this point of time. These are the details which have been submitted in the AOP, but what we have also been told is that the Ministry of Civil Aviation has asked them to first get the 737 MAX deal signed and give the registration numbers, the safety numbers, and also the important personnel which will be hiring, which will be hired to get at a team. So that is something which is happening at this point of time with respect to Jet Airways, but we'll have to really wait and watch how soon or how much time does it really take for the airline to get back into air, and also keep in focus the both cases in NCLT by NCLAT, and NCLT both by the employees as well as the PNB, which has filed a case to maintain the status quo of the operations.
Utkarsh, many thanks for that. Moving on then, let's get you the latest coming in from the policy corridors of New Delhi. And here's the latest coming in. The government is looking at significantly giving a booster shot to the textile sector. In fact, the Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal has been meeting with various stakeholders of the textile sector. And we do understand that textiles could soon be a part of the government's ECLGS program as well, or the Emergency Credit Linked Guarantee Scheme, that is going to provide ample liquidity to the to the textile sector as well. Let me take it across to Samir. He's bringing in the latest on that. Samir, what are the details that you're picking up?
Yes, definitely. The textile sector is amongst the topmost employment generating sector in the country, and that's the reason that PM Modi-led government is trying to address the various issues faced by the textile sector. Now, sources close to the development have informed that the financial stress, the liquidity problem which is being faced by the textile sector, to address this particular problem, Ministry is soon going to set up a committee. Now, this committee will be mandated to look after this solution part regarding the finances, regarding the liquidity problem that is being faced by the textile sector, not just finding out a solution, but to give those solutions, to give those particular feedback to the ministry within 2 months. That's the reason that ministry is very interestingly moving ahead to set up a committee, and based on the recommendations, government will soon formulate a proper action plan. In this entire effort process, government has already, the textile ministry has already done the talks part, the discussion part with the DFS, the Department of Financial Services, along with the SBI chairman. So talks have already taken place regarding the setting up of this committee. But one more interesting part is that top ministry officials have informed that the bankers are not having very positive approach towards the textile sector, which is acting as a blockage. So to address this particular problem,
Piyush Goyal, who leads the textile ministry, he himself will meet with the top bankers of the country in next 10 to 15 days. So, at one hand, meeting with the bankers, the other hand, the setting up of a special committee, and one more step in which the textile ministry is moving ahead is to include this entire sector in the emergency credit line guarantee scheme. Yes, the efforts are being made to include the textile ministry under the emergency credit line guarantee scheme, and textile ministry officials believe so that if this effort comes into existence or it gets successful, then the sector development will be on a very rapid pace.
Recently, as you are aware, we have extended the ROSCTL up to 2024 and ROTTAP rates have also been announced actually. So those textile products which is not covered under ROSCTL are covered under ROTTAP actually. So ROSCTL, ROTTAP, PLI, and then we are going with the mega textile parks actually.
Exactly, that was
as you may be aware that India's textile value chain is very fragmented actually. We have strength in let's say spinning at one place. Maybe a Tamil Nadu would be very strong in spinning, but something which is spun there will be weaved somewhere else. It will be processed somewhere else, and it would be garmenting and would take place somewhere else actually. So what happens is that leads to a very high logistics cost actually. So this this mega textile parks, which would be built over an area of about 1,000 acres or so, 7 of them are planned in the first phase actually. So that to a very large extent, because there will be a plug and play facility there, to a very large extent that will take care of this issue of very high logistics cost actually. Okay. So all these measures put together, incentivizing the export, not really because it has to be a WTO compliant. So what we are basically trying to do through ROSCTL and ROTTAP, that any kind of levies either by the state government or any kind of taxes by the state or central government is fully kind of refunded actually.
All right, moving on from the textile sector, let's get you the latest coming in from the power sector, where we had seen how power demand had become a recent cause of concern due to the unavailability of coal. Now, we do understand the power ministry is set to change the rules for the supply of coal to power plants in order to meet the excess power demand. Here's my colleague Prakash. He's joining us on the phone line with more details. Prakash, I'm sure this is coming in after a slew of meetings that the power ministry was holding in order to address this issue. What is the final game plan?
Yes, due to the sudden surge in the power demand, and because there is a coal shortage to various power plants, the government is engaging with all the stakeholders to review the situation. And today it has been decided by the power ministry that they will allow the power generation companies which do not have the PPA, that is the power purchase agreement, to take part in the coal auction process and go with the agreement with the Coal India. And there will be three kind of options. The first one is either they can make agreement with 3 months or 6 months or for 1 year. So the power plants which do not have the power purchase agreement with the discoms can also take part in the coal auction process. And second decision that has been taken today is on the bank guarantee front, that the power producers are requesting since long that because the power plants do not have the PPA, they are in a huge burden. So the minimum requirement to keep maintaining this bank guarantee should be reduced drastically. So in principle, the power ministry is agreed upon. And the third decision that has been taken is the liquidity infusion scheme that has been announced earlier by the government. There will be equal treatment for all the power producers. So these three decisions has been taken, and definitely it is going to some extent ease out the burden on the power producers.
All right, Prakash, many thanks for getting in all those details. That's my colleague Prakash getting in the latest on what the Power Ministry intends to do to meet the excess power demand. Moving on then, in the latest legal tussle involving retail giants Future Group as well as Amazon, Justice NV Ramanna will be taking a call on the request by Future Group to grant them an urgent hearing on a petition against the attachment of assets ordered by the Delhi High Court. Here's my colleague Abhimanyu Sharma. He's getting in the latest from the courtrooms. Abhimanyu.
Future Group has informed the Apex Court that they have contested the order to enforce the Emergency Arbitrators Award, in which the initial plea was made by Amazon before the Delhi High Court. The CJI has said that he will look into the case files and decide on listing a future retails appeal. A single judge bench of the Delhi High Court in March had attached assets of the Future Group, and the next High Court hearing for enforcement of this order is slated for the 16th of September. Future Group has urged the Supreme Court to give a swift hearing to the appeal against the High Court order before the 16th of September, as they fear that the High Court may pass orders to enforce the arbitral award. The High Court had earlier told the Future Group to either get a stay from the Supreme Court or be ready to get fresh orders from the Delhi High Court. In March, a single judge bench of the Delhi High Court had asked for attachment of assets of Future Group and Kishore Biyani on a petition filed by Amazon. Apart from imposing a fine on Future Group and Kishore Biyani, the single judge bench had also asked him why he should not be sent to jail. On the 6th of August, the top court had upheld the validity of Singapore-based emergency arbitrators order in India, which gave a fresh lease of life to Amazon's petition before the High Court, after which this plea for urgent hearing has been made by the Future Group in the Apex Court.
Right, that's my colleague Abhimanyu getting in all the details. That's of course the latest coming in terms of all the other important corporate developments. But let's switch gears, shift focus and talk about the big day ahead of us. That's of course Teachers' Day. It's round the corner on 5th of September, and this year the World's Teachers' Day of course has even greater significance. We've seen the kind of challenges that the entire teaching community has faced in the last 2 years during the COVID crisis, and their contribution to ensuring that there is continuity in terms of learning and supporting the mental health and well-being of students is unparalleled. So today on India Tonight, we decided to focus in on the teachers, on the teaching community, and we'll be speaking to two very special guests joining us on ET Now to talk about some of the challenges that they've faced, even as kids have now just begun resuming to get back to school. With a lot of restrictions in place, even as there is a lot of spotlight on whether at all kids should be going to school at the moment like this, when there's of course an impending third wave. Joining us today on ET Now is Dr Manjula Raman, the CEO of Royale Concorde International Schools, as well as Mr Mohamed Shakeel, the President of Voice of Parents Association in Karnataka. Appreciate you both taking your time out and speaking with us today at ET Now. I am Ruchi Bhatia. Dr. Manjula, let me first begin by asking you, and if you could weigh in for us some of the times that we've seen in the last 2 years in a crisis where teachers of course have shown a lot of resilience, offered great leadership, innovation to ensure that learning never stops and no learner and no kid is really left behind. Talk to us about some of the moments, the challenges that we've seen in the last 2 years and how teachers have overcome that.
Well, Ruchi, the best thing that happened, is that everyone upscaled on the technology. And the best moment I can remember is those small faces on the screen and everybody saying, yay, that's my teacher and that's my friend. Because that was something very new for the children. They knew that they come to class, they meet their friends. But even on screen, after almost a month, it was a great moment for the kids to, meet each other. As for the teachers, yes, it wasn't an easy task. It was very, very scary for the teachers, how they are going to connect. They were all not trained in, the skills of technology in use. Yes, everyone used technology, but not as a full time. And we all thought it would last for about 3 months or 4 months, and then we'll get to normalcy. Now it's almost 2 years. We have to do our assessment. We have to connect with the students. Parent teachers is on that. All the festivals that we had, face to face is all on online now. So I think in many ways there are some positives to it. One is that the teachers suddenly realized that doing your B.Ed and becoming a teacher was not the last learning that they did, and there's a lot to learn. And such moments where the opportunity to scale up. The second is that we also realize that parents will be part of the learning journey of all students, which is a fantastic thing. And I'm sure it's going to carry on like that. And the third was that we could reach out to any child. Bangalore being a tech city, there were many parents who lost their jobs and they had to move on to their villages or little towns to work from home on a very small budget. And we could reach out to those kids. So that was all the positive sides of the pandemic. And I think in that one academic year that we had, I think we did a good job. And I think in many ways, the parents were our warriors, if I would say, our co-warriors who helped us tide through that. Yes, we were all scared in the beginning, we are going to be judged and how are we going to use the different technology? But I think it came off well, and the children have been kind, the parents have been kind, and we as teachers have learned a lot.
Oh, absolutely. And there's no denying that. Let me take it across to Mohamed Shakeel as well. So help us understand the kind of resilience that we've seen in the education sector in COVID-19. And do you believe that this innovation is going to make sure that some of these gains that we have seen during these times, we're able to continue post the COVID era as well?
I feel we should continue with this, post the COVID era as well, because it would bring education to a lot of other children who are unable to go to schools, for various reasons, for, children who are handicapped and other, challenges that they face. But online, to continue online after the pandemic also, it has to be provisioned for and regularized as a mode of education to be provided. As of now, there is no provision for online education in elementary schools.
Right, absolutely. In fact, Miss Raman, if I can ask you, my mom's a teacher, and I never thought that, she will be so comfortable teaching students online. But one of the things that we've seen, and while you have said that parents have been a warrior during this time, teachers have really, upped their game as well. It is the students as well who have really adapted to technology in a big way. If I can give you a small anecdote, and this is something that my mother was telling me, that in one of the classrooms when a teacher asked the student why the student had not done a certain project on how a seed turns into a plant, the kid responded by saying that my internet was not working. So it's the innocence of kids that we've seen during these times as well. So talk to us about how the kids have really adapted themselves to technology, even as they're finding it so difficult to deal with the fact that they're not meeting their friends in schools anymore, especially the younger generation.
You're quite right, Ruchi. It is really amazing. I remember once, when the principal of our school was addressing all the children, welcoming them on a festive day. So they said, ma'am, can you take the camera and show us the school, how the school looks without children? And, the way they wooed when they saw the assembly place, they saw their toys, they saw some classes. I think children are missing their classes, but they are innocent. And let me tell you how beautifully, when we have these competitions, they do all those things they would do for the school, like dressing up, learning to be a great orator, trying to show us all the projects that they have done. Yes, you were right. For everything they have, when they want to switch off or they snooze or they've got up late, they always say the internet was down. So we take it with a pinch of salt. As long as, the larger learning has taken place, it's fantastic. And yes, there were some kids who really had the internet issues, because when they moved on to the smaller villages or to the towns, they did have issues. So we had recorded classes. So that was so much easier to share with the children. And I think on the whole, there was a lot of empathy by the children to the teachers also. They understood that, the teacher can't do everything, because there were times when you could just see the hand of a teacher or half the head just moving out because they had not adjusted the camera. All these angles and all the teachers didn't know. And, writing on the blackboard and absolutely invisible to the students. But the students really, really took it up so well. And in the beginning, all teachers had that little fear when we give that assignment, they're going to cheat. And after that, it didn't matter. It was about learning. And that's a good thing that happened. It's learning not for exams, but learning for the joy of learning. And that's a good thing that has happened, because we don't mind if somebody has cheated or something, but at least they'd heard us. And that's more important.
Absolutely. Oh, couldn't agree more with you. But Mr. Shakeel, if I can come to you, we're of course at a time when various states have opened schools between 9 to 12 standard. But once again, it has stirred a debate on whether this is the right time to open schools just yet. Dr. Manjula here was talking about that how learning is very, very important, but so is the health factor as well. And with the impending third wave, how do you foresee this debate on whether this is the right time, or should we wait a little while longer, let the kids get vaccinated and only then allow them to go back to their classrooms?
You can flip a coin and say it is anybody's guess whether to open schools now or not to open schools now. It has been a long time since kids have been away from school. Everybody is eager to get back to schools, teachers, parents, kids, everybody wants to get back. But the million-dollar question is it the right time? And I came across a report filed by the Association of Private Hospitals and Nursing Homes. The expert committee of the private hospitals and nursing homes in Karnataka has given a report to the health ministry where they are saying that it is not the right time. And there is evidence, that shows that we should wait for some more time, and they are not recommending the government to open schools as of now. So I don't know how, on what basis, of which expert committee appointed by the government they have taken this decision, on what evidence to open schools is a big question that arises, and parents are very concerned about kids. See, in normal times, during the normal times, kids get cold and cough and flu 2-3 times in a year. And now, since they have been at home, they have not had those events of common cold and flu and fever and viral infection. Those things have been very, very minimal in the kids. So when we cannot stop that common cold and flu viral, I don't know how we can save them from the pandemic and the COVID-19 virus without a vaccination.
So Dr. Manjula, if I can come to you, that's Absolutely, Dr. Manjula, if I can come to you, and that's a very important point being raised by Mr. Shakeel there, that we have to focus in on the health of the students as well. And once again, we're back to the drawing board. While schools have opened for some of the senior, in some states for some of the senior classes, it is the younger generation that is still being kept at home. But where are we on the debate on whether schools should be opened up, or should we wait for a little while, ensure that the kids are vaccinated first?
I totally agree. The health and the welfare of the student is foremost. But it is also important to realize that mentally, the children have lost out a lot. And even in the learning, there has been a huge gap. When we say that children have learned online, I would say that is just a minimal effort in reaching out to the child so that he's not totally blank. But that doesn't mean that we did a good job of it. It is a total, learning that took place. And but having said that, I think the child's health is foremost. There are issues like girls dropping out. There are issues of children, being absolutely fed up of staying at home. They are suffering from, anxiety and irritation, and they want to get away from home. They are restricted in those restricted surroundings. But I think, in a phased manner, like although in Karnataka, we've opened for 9th to 12th, I hardly have any children even in that segment who are coming to school. And I cannot force any child to come to school when they don't feel safe. My teachers, every staff in the school have been vaccinated. But what about the travel that the children will take? What about the other children's family, whether everyone is vaccinated? Even if we ensure that, it is the children, because, on the way, they may just get infected. So I think they could wait for a little while and let us see how this phase is going when, like in Karnataka, at least 75% of people have taken the first dose. And it seems to be plateauing. Let us see if things go fine. I think we can we can get the children to school in a phased manner, even for 9th to 12th. Because I don't have parents, like when we sent out a Google form asking them their consent, we hardly had about 5 students out of 160 students, parents who said, yes, we'll send them to school. So obviously they are very anxious to send the children to school, but they are worried about their health. And I think there should not be any great hurry to get the children back to school. The only thing is that if we could have some kind of upgraded version of online, like the blended form, where children, just about 5 children are called every day, and the minimal amount of interactions happen, physical interactions. Maybe that might work, but I still feel we should wait maybe the month of September and October.
Okay, all right. On that note, Dr. Manjula Raman as well as Mr. Mohamed Shakeel, appreciate you both taking your time out and speaking with us. And let me wish both of you a very happy Teachers Day as well. Here's we at ET now saluting the spirits of all the teachers, and I should also tell my mother as well a very happy Teachers Day. All my learning in life has been only because of her and many more other teachers that I've had in my life. But on that note, time to get into a short break. We will be back with more news stories on the other side.